literally was not okay. Oh my freaking gosh. It's Kevin Jonas. Noted, you guys, he takes his coffee black.
Hello, Vice in Huffington.
Yep, hi.
Crew scheduling. Just give you a call to inform you that this sequence is a sequence. You have position 1. Report time 0940.
Okay, sounds good. Good morning, you guys. Welcome back to my videos. If you're new here, hi, my name is Abby. Thank you so much for being here. I'm a flight attendant as well as a personal trainer. It is currently 7:25 in the morning and I'm getting ready for work. I got called in at 5:20 this morning. So I thought it'd be the perfect time to be doing the questions and answers, the most common questions that you guys ask on my Instagram. Let's get started. So the most common question that I've gotten was, what inspired me to become a flight attendant? How do you become a flight attendant? What's the process like? Let's start with the very basics. I personally love flying. I love going on trips. I love just being on the plane. I love being at the airport. It gets me excited. I know some people hate being at the airport because it gives them so much anxiety, but just the thought of going to the airport for any reason, even like when it was a 30-minute flight from Boston to New York, I loved going to the airport. What really truly inspired me was my best friend, Alexandra. You guys probably don't know her if you don't follow me on TikTok and Instagram. She and I became really close over the past year and a half, almost 2 years, which is so crazy to say. Her whole family are flight attendants. So her mom, her dad, her sister, her future sister-in-law, and her now are flight attendant. It's the cutest thing because they'll get trips together sometimes. And of course, with any job, there's like the downside, and she'll like, you know, vent to me about like having a bad day. But even on their worst days, she loved that job. And it always intrigued me, but like I never went forward with it because I also didn't know the process. And I also kind of like closed it out of the books because, you know, I was a personal trainer and I was like, that's that. I had told her, you know, over the course of us being friends that like if the applications ever opens up, please let me know because I have kind of always been intrigued and I would love to like go into that field. And she was like, okay, say less. Literally 2 weeks later, she sent me a text with like the red sirens being like, Abby, it's like open, the applications are open, it's time for you to like apply. I wrote a cover letter and then I had her read it over. She came over the next day and she helped me apply. So it is September 14th. What are we doing?
Applying for American Airlines.
I'm so nervous. I've been sitting here for like hours helping me do this. We've been going over cover letters and resume. But if I don't get it, I'm gonna just keep trying.
Yes, you will.
I was so nervous just because I knew how many people applied for this job every year. And you know, she had told me so many people also don't get it. We were manifesting it, but at the same time we were like, if this doesn't happen for me, like we'll just try again next year and whatnot. I applied in September and I didn't hear a single word until at the end of November. So by then, I kind of gave up waiting and I was like, okay, like I don't think I got it. I kind of forgot about it. And then I was working out with Alexandra. I definitely have this clip somewhere because I always work out, like vlog my workouts, where I heard back from them. I got an email, we both freaked out. So that's how I was inspired, just through her family who always talked about it, because I also love flying. What is the process like to become a flight attendant? You just apply. Honestly, they just want to see your enthusiasm, if you genuinely would be a good fit for this job. So the interview process is long, but you don't have to go to like flight school or like flight training school. And if there's something like that online, don't pay for that. Those are all scams. Like, do not do that. But yeah, you just apply like whenever the applications are open, which I'm pretty sure right now it's still open. It was open last month. If you've been thinking about it, I would do it. I would do your own research because I do feel like a lot of people came into training not knowing like what to expect. They just found out that it's not always sunshines and rainbows and butterflies. Yeah, like there's obviously bad parts, which is one of the questions, so I'll get into that. But like I would really research. I would watch a lot of YouTube videos because that's what I did like before I even applied for the job, because I knew it would be a process. Like, you know, I was always researching, making sure this was a job for me. So I really would look up the pay, the hours, what are the minimum hours, what's the minimum that you'd get paid if you don't fly. When you're on call, you don't always fly as much as you think you do. But yes, I would just do your research before you go into this. Also, Whenever I do my makeup now, I use these jumbo cosmetic wedges that Alexandra showed me about, because just carrying around beauty blender, it just holds on to bacteria and my skin would break out like crazy. So it's a disposable one. You just use it once and then you just throw it away, or you can reuse it if you're at home. But when I'm traveling, I just dispose it because it just collects bacteria. Do you have a set schedule or is it random for you? Every base is different. Certain bases has more flight attendants than other bases. So the entire job is based on seniority. So the more flight attendants there are and the newer you are, you will have lower seniority. The company standard is you have to serve 1 straight year of reserve, which means you're on call for a whole year. You don't have a set schedule for a whole year. And I feel like a lot of people don't understand the terminology of being on call. Yeah, you don't know when you're gonna get called in. We do have a call out like list that you can see on how far down the list you are that the next day and how likely you're to get called in. We don't get that list until the night before our shift starts, but it is a lot more helpful because if I'm obviously so far down and I'm like 170 something, and I know most likely I'm not gonna get called in unless like there's weather. So I'll still go to the gym, I'll still be out and about. Like I'll have my suitcase packed at all times. I'll stay in my Dallas area. I won't like leave the city, but I just like, I can go to the grocery store, like I can leave the house. I'm not locked in here waiting for a phone call. And I think that's what a lot of people were thinking that like this job was like. I'm just sitting here like waiting for a call at any time. No, like I actually like being on reserve. A lot of flight attendants don't like being on reserve, but I like being on reserve because I have my own apartment and I have my boyfriend who lives in the house with me. Because some of the downsides of being on reserve is you can't leave the base. So even if I'm like 170 or 200 on the list and I know like 99% chance that I won't get called in, I still can't leave my base. I have to stay here. I can't just go to New York to go visit my mom. I can't just drive to Austin to go visit my friend. I still have to be in this like proximity. So a lot of people don't like being on call because like they either have a crash pad or like they want to like make plans and go to like different cities to like meet up with their family or friends, and they're just not able to do that. So set schedule. So the first year being a flight attendant, you are on reserve for most bases, but there are bases that are a lot more junior, which means there's a lot less flight attendants, and all the flight attendants that are in that base, 90% of them are young. So your seniorities rise super fast because every time they put a new hire in that base, your seniority goes up like insane amounts. So I actually have friends from my training class in a different base in Northeast who already hold a line, which holding a line means you hold a schedule. So you know a month ahead of time what flights you'll be flying and you're not like on call at all. So that's really nice. Like I said, being on call is not bad whatsoever. Again, these are stuff that you guys should look up because a lot of people didn't know this coming into training and then they were very upset by the end of training. But again, like, girl, why are you applying to a job that you didn't do any research about? So you're on rotation after being on call for a whole year. By year 1 through 3 or 4, you're on 1 on, 1 off. So you're on call for 1 month and then you're on the line for a month and then you just rotate back and forth. For most bases, then you're on the rotation where it's 3 on the line and 1 on call. So it's really not bad once you get like more seniority. And then eventually you just hold a line for the entire year. On reserve, you get 12 days off per month, which is a lot. That's like a 3-day weekend that you get. And you can bid for like whichever days you want. You won't always get awarded them. When I first started, I got nothing that I bid for. Now it's getting a lot better. So like even though you're a senior mama and you've been with the company for so long, yeah, you have to serve reserve, but you're so senior that you can hold whatever days you want off and you can bid for certain trips. Like, so they're the ones who are gonna get the international trips. They're the ones who go to Greece, London, Korea, Japan. So when you hold the line, you still have to bid for which trips you want to get. Basically anything you bid when I first hold a line next year, I'm not gonna get any trips that I want. I know that ahead of time. I'm gonna get like the trips that nobody wants. So that's just stuff that you have to keep in mind because you're so low in seniority that like they're gonna award it to the higher seniors. Those are like the kind of things that are like pros and cons of being on call. But again, I genuinely don't care because I just like that my office is in the sky. All right, next question. What are flight discounts like? Percentage off tickets, free standby, repositioning. One of the biggest perks of being a flight attendant is you do get free flights, but you're on standby. So you fly standby, which means I get free flights. I get a seat if there's an empty seat on the plane. So I can't just show up to the airport and be like, okay, I want to go to Korea tomorrow. Yes, I can do that technically, but there has to be an open seat for me to take it because customers come first because they're the ones that are paying. So paying customers come first. So we can see ahead of time online online. Like we can see a month in advance, and I always check it even the night before on how likely I am to get on the flight. 9 out of 10 times, I don't have a problem, knock on wood, getting onto those planes. But when it's pretty overbooked, what's great about being a flight attendant compared to being like the beneficiary like Phil is that like flight attendants can take a jump seat. Where flight attendants sit on the plane, like all the way in the front of the plane, all the way at the back of the plane, passengers are not allowed to sit there for safety reasons, but us flight attendants are allowed to take those seats if the plane is completely full. So unless there's like 5 flight attendants on the standby list, 9 out of 10 times I'll get on that plane even if it's full because I'll take a jump seat, which is really nice. Again, knock on wood, haven't had any troubles like where I wasn't able to get on the flight. I got on every single one. Phil did have a couple times where he didn't, but that's a big perk. Hold on. It's overheating. It's stressing me out. Let's say you don't want to fly standby though, you can buy a confirmed seat by a discounted price. I believe it's 20% off. I've never done it. So that's really nice. And another perk of this is you can choose one traveling partner that will get the same exact benefit as you do. Completely all free flights. All domestic flights are completely free. For international flight, you have to pay the taxes, but literally to go to Korea and back, it's $40. That's like absolutely nothing. It's just so nice. So it's just nice to like get those perks for free. Best and worst part of the job. So the best part of the job is every single day is different. You will never have the same day in this job. I will like 90% of the time have a different crew. I haven't flown with the same crew in a long time unless I'm trying to. Like Jordan and I have flown together several times. Just like fun when you're flying with a friend too. That's like such a fun time. Like going to a new city in a layover in a hotel to explore with your friend. That's so much fun. Also to explore cities that I never would pay money to go by myself. The most hidden gem for me that I've been to, and I haven't flown to many different cities, was Des Moines, Iowa, I think. That was a hidden gem. I literally was dragging my feet. I didn't want to go there that night because the plane took off at 10 p.m. I was really tired. So when I got called in, I was like having a hissy fit to my boyfriend. When I got there, I made new friends. I went to a workout class. I took Orange Theory and I became friends with 2 of the instructors. They showed me around the city and it was just like such a fun time. Des Moines was also like super cute and people were so sweet there, like every single person. So the best part of the job is that like not every day is the same. You have different crew every time. You can fly there with a friend who's also a flight attendant and just like have a really fun layover, meet new people in a new city. Like I would have never paid money to go to Des Moines to just explore, you know what I'm saying? But like it's just so fun. That's what I get to do. So the worst part of the job is obviously unexpected delays. That's bound to happen. There's gonna be mechanical problems, weather delays. Those are just like not fun because you're just sitting at the airport the entire time. And passengers who are difficult and won't follow the rules, it's not that like I just make them up, but like they just think that I do, so they try to not listen and then I have to write a report on them, and it's just like those are not fun. But the worst part right now for me is me and Phil have the opposite schedule. So he is currently in Dubai for a work trip and he's been there for 5 days, where I didn't get called in for those 5 days that like he's been there, and he's literally landing back today at 8:45 and I got called in to report to duty by 9:40. So yes, the opposite schedule right now. That's what's the worst part, like trying to plan your life and like also be present in the moment with your family and like my significant other and all that. You are going to lose friends while you have this job who don't understand your schedule and like who just get really frustrated, and those are stuff that you just have to be prepared for. Like Alexandra had told me so many times, like you're gonna really find who your true friends are during this, who like truly support you. And I feel like I'm at an age where I really just protect my peace and I just keep the people who bring me happiness and like just peace. Do you get to pick your hotels or does work book for you? Do you get discounts outside of work trip? The work books it for me. So every time I get a layover trip, it's already all planned in there. Sometimes the hotels are like just like, you know, mediocre, but other times there are times where the hotel is so nice. I'm just like, I could stay here for a whole week, you know? So it's a hit or miss, but honestly, it's just so cool. What would you never do while flying now that you're an FA? A couple things. I've seen people, and I've definitely done this before and I will never do it again. People went to the restroom in socks. Barefoot is wild. Don't do that.
Stop it. Get some help.
Like the plane floors are disgusting. Please don't do that. If you see liquid on the ground in the bathroom, it is not water. It is urine. Please don't go in there barefoot. I used to like take my shoes off on planes just because like, you know, my culture, my Korean culture, like we take our shoes off wherever we go, like on planes, on like in cars, like whatever. So like that was just my first instinct. Ever since being on the plane, never ever will do that again. Another thing is I always wipe down my seats now. I got so sick. Like I got a flu when I first started working because my body just wasn't used to being exposed to so many people, and people carry germs. Yeah, never ever will I be sitting on the plane seat without wiping my seat. We do have cleaners that come on, but I just like to double check myself. It's just like a peace of mind for me that I do it myself, you know, in case they missed one seat. Do you have any day and what hours you work? When we're on the line, what you fly is what you get. And when you're a senior mama, you can fly as little as 40 hours, I believe, per month, and that's considered full-time, but you will get paid for the 40 hours. That's the minimum to be a full-time, I believe. I don't know, this is all like public information. I like researched this again before. You're holding a line like as a junior person, as someone like me, so once I start holding a line, even if I wanted to work less 1 month, let's say like wanted to work 40 or 50 hours, I'm not gonna be able to do that because they need flight attendants. So like we're gonna get assigned whatever trip is still remained open and no one claimed. So on average, for someone who holds a line in Dallas, I believe they fly like 85 hours per month, and that's just plain hours. Like that's not me leaving my house to report to duty and like sitting at the airport an hour before, or if there's a delay. That's literally the airplane door closing to opening again. I have to report to duty an hour before a plane takes off. That 1 hour does not count towards it. So like 85 hours for someone to fly is like pretty busy. It's a busy schedule. But when you're on reserve, you're not always going to get called in for 85 hours of work because they already have people online. So when you're on call, it's people who call in sick. Hello? Last month was such a slow month. September and October were both very, very slow month. Last month, I flew 41 hours, but you get a minimum pay of 75 hours. So even if you don't work the 75 hours, they'll pay you minimum 75. During the summer, the busy months where we have a lot more frequent flights because everyone's traveling then, we increase the number of flights that we have. So I was called in constantly and I flew, I think like still 74 hours and I got paid 75 hours. But that was like the busiest time, and that felt like I was flying every single day, honestly. But let's say on reserve, you fly 85 hours. That's when you cap out, like they'll pay you max of 85 hours. That's why I like being on reserve. Like, you know, I'm at my apartment, I'm waiting to get called in, and if I don't get called in, I'm just hanging out with my friends or with Phil, and I'm still getting paid the 75 hours, you know? Is it possible to be a mom and be a flight attendant? Yes, but I would be prepared for a hectic, crazy schedule. Alexandra's mom, she was a flight attendant while she was pregnant as well as after she had the baby. So it's definitely possible. It's just like be prepared for, like obviously I just told you guys like how hectic my schedule is and like how my schedule with Phyllis is opposite. So like being a newborn mom, I just know like it's a lot harder because like you want to be there for your babies all the time. If you're holding a line, it's a lot easier. So like the earlier you start, it's easier because you'll be more senior and you can drop a trip or like trade with somebody, or like if you want to wait until your kid is a little bit older, like I feel like that'd be good, but be prepared for the stress as well. Someone asked, is the pay worth the crazy on-call schedule? I'm not doing this for the pay. I'm doing it because I genuinely like the job. The pay honestly isn't great. Like if this was my only job, I'd be struggling, but I'm also a personal trainer, so that like helps a lot. Like I sell workout guides. That's like also something that I'm very passionate about. To answer your question, yes, for me it is. Again, like people need to do their own research before going into this job, not knowing what the pay is like, but it does go up as your seniority goes up. So, but yeah, I always tell my friends who's also flight attendants, you should always have multiple sources of income as a personal trainer, babysitter, dog walker, like just something coming in so that you are comfortable, so that you don't like resent this job. Because I feel like when you make it all about the money, it is exhausting. Like you are flying 3 to 4 flights a day sometimes. So it can be super exhausting. So having something that's coming in extra so that you can truly like show up, be the best flight attendant, like be as positive as you possibly can be, I think is very important. Craziest, most funny story on the job. Guys, I TikTok and Instagram people know this story because I was freaking out. Kevin Jonas was on my flight on the way back home from New York. I wasn't working it, but I was in uniform because I had a shift as soon as I landed. So I'm on the jet bridge where we're boarding, and you know, I'm just like on my phone because Phil was outside. He's trying to get on the plane, and this was the time that he didn't look like he was going to be able to get on. And so I was texting him, making sure he's okay. I felt bad because, like, you know, he's going to be sitting at the airport again. And I hear the two men talking in front of me, and I look up, and me and Phil watch Claim to Fame, which is a show that Kevin Jonas has with his younger brother Frankie. And I was like, wow, he sounds really similar to Kevin Jonas. And then as soon as I look up, the back of his head looks similar to Kevin Jonas. But at the same time, I was like, his height isn't giving Kevin Jonas, because I don't know, for some reason, I literally thought he was like 6'2" or something. I just kept staring at the back of his head. I'm like, just like turn your head a little bit. Let me see if it's Kevin Jonas. There's no way. Every time, every 2 seconds, I was like, there's no freaking way it's Kevin Jonas right in front of me. And whoever he was with, whether it was his manager or his friend, said something to him, and he turned his head to be like, yeah, like, you know, I have to go to Dallas and then I have to drive to Austin. I literally was not okay. I was like, oh my freaking gosh, it's Kevin Jonas. I texted Phil immediately. I was like, oh my God, Kevin Jonas is right in front of me. You know what Phil responded with? BS. How freaking rude. Like, I know I mess around with my mom, with my friends, with Phil all the time. I love pranking people, but I'm literally the boy who cried wolf, because I was like, no, I swear to God, he's right in front of me. And he just genuinely was not believing me. Also, the camera's gonna die, so let me go over there. I'm freaking out. I'm texting Phil, I'm texting my mom, because I've heard of my friends and like just people who are in the same training class as me who's had celebrities before, but it's not just any celebrity in front of me. It's literally Kevin Jonas, one of the Jonas Brothers. I love listening to Jonas Brothers as I'm working out. Like, it was a big deal for me. Anyways, I'm texting my mom and whatever, and my friends are like, oh my God, take a picture with him. But also, I didn't want to bother him because, like, I'm sure he gets that all the time. I don't know, I didn't want to seem unprofessional because I'm also in uniform. But anyways, we are on the plane at this point, and he puts his bags down at first class at his seat. He's looking for a place for his suitcase. He boarded late. I don't know why, but like, that's why I was able to see him, because he was boarding when I was boarding, and I wasn't sitting at first class. I had the jump seat. So he boarded late, and he's looking for a room for his baggage. And you know, I'm literally like, this is my moment to shine. This is literally what I do. So I was like, let me help you out. So I move a couple bags around, put his up there, and he turned around, he thanked me. I literally was like, my whole life is made. He said, oh, thank you. And I was like, you're welcome. Literally, you're so welcome. I hated that I said this. I think I said, oh, hi, Kevin. And he said to me, because why would I say that? Like, I said it like we've met before. I'm literally calling him by his name as if we're acquaintances, like we're friends or something. Because then it confused him, and he said, hi, nice to see you again. Have I seen him before? Absolutely, yeah. That was my first time ever meeting him. Me, just trying to be nonchalant and cool. I was just like, nice to see you again too. The two flight attendants were busy at one point serving like other people. So I'm sitting like waiting for the first class bathroom to open, and I see at the corner of my eye, Kevin like waving, like trying to get my attention. Me, delusional, literally thought he was trying to say like hi. So I turn around, I'm about to say like wave. Thank God I didn't, because he's like, I'm so sorry to bother you, but is there any chance I can get a cup of coffee? Was I working the flight? No, but I said absolutely. There was nothing more I wanted to do than to serve him coffee. So I said, do you want cream or sugar with that? And he said, no, he takes it black. So, noted, you guys, he takes his coffee black, you know. That was by far the coolest thing. I was texting my best friend Jordan, literally freaking out, because she knows how big of a fan I am of him. She's freaking out for me. I was like, we have the coolest freaking job, in my opinion. Anyways, I do have to get going. So, let's get going to the airport. The plane that I'm flying today is very small. It's a baby bus. It's at 3:19. I'm at the airport. I'm about to see Phil. Phil's gonna drive this car back, so otherwise I would usually park in the free employee parking lot. I'm gonna see him for a brief 10 minutes before I have to go. Today I'm going to Jacksonville and back. I'm working number 1, which I really didn't want to work today, but honestly I'm really glad that I did get it because it's been a while since I've been number 1. I love making the PAs. I'm flying a baby bus, which means I only have 8 passengers in first class instead of 20. So it's gonna be really easy flight, and Phil's calling me. I'm outside of Grand Hyatt. Baby, you can't touch my face! We do have to go because I'm gonna run.
No.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and
subscribe and hit the bell and notifications on.
Okay.
And write a nice comment for Abby.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Bye bye.